all what needs to be spoken via words done through sound, which is my way of communicating. And I've been basically just, yeah, these things, these strings, are ready to be replaced soon, but I'm still playing the guitar in, so I'm gonna just kind of do some, rather thunky, hard strumming on this guitar. I like the idea of just playing a guitar anyhow. And am settling into the realization that's sort of obvious anyhow, but I can't feign for any other musical style unless it's doing an atmospheric instrumental sort of thing, which I enjoy the idea of making a music score based on the scenes of mental chapters to create experiences of little novellas that in some terms tie together in sound concepts. That's something that the Chameleon Shelter disc set and A Leme Harot had done in some ways, using sound signatures throughout the songs on that. But anyway, this whole thing I was just doing is, before I recorded it, it came out a little more natural, I suppose, but it was fun and soothing to play. Connecting back to that idea, though, of what it is that's being done, it's rock and roll. It's what's happening with where when I play, that's the style that it is. Because it's about even being in the most brash of situations, and it's either being extremely content and playing some sort of rock and roll, or undergoing a form of trauma on the planet, be it being an offshoot of a human being or whatever. It's still having sound there and still playing the sound. If people like it, or if people have their own comments about how it's not being played the right way, to still stick to playing what you do by your terms of being happy, but also seeking to improve along the way, you know? Sometimes the form of improvement comes back to playing simple again, or to feeling how you had felt when you were still figuring things out regarding music and instruments and all of that in the first place. So, I am about to then play the rest of the lifespan of the strings off of this instrument. Probably illustrate on the instrument a little bit more. It'll be seen as in I'm overdoing it to some point, I suppose, but it's what makes me content. I'm just searching for a silver line permanent paint marker that smooths along surfaces really quite fine, but I haven't been able to find it throughout many of the kind of clutter piles of everything that serves its own purpose around here. Finally, last night, I had a cat nudge a laptop that was basically on life support for about 5 years. The cat nudged it off of the stool that I had beside my bedside, and it fell right onto that wiggly wire, because basically I had to use some strips of metal and a clamp to hold the ground connection in place to get the computer to work. Anyway, I removed the hard drive out of that and have some sort of animal burrowing either outside of this room right now, or a bird up near the roof making a nest, or an animal burrowing on the inside of the underneath of the house here. So I just heard that. That's fun. Anyway. Yeah, for rock and roll, and I'll cut this short soon because I'm adding way too much at this point here, is what it is. I play rock and roll. Anything can come out sounding like singer-songwriter and this and that. I'm not trendy enough for this kind of stuff. I'm not socially applicable enough. It's music. It comes out how it does. What I'm meaning to say in the real world comes out better through music, give or take. I don't expect a lot of people to actually like it. And I had a compliment or whatever. I had good word about my playing after I went out the last time. People were saying kind things. It was screwed up to hear. Not only did I not expect any kindness towards the things that I was doing when I finally felt comfortable with what I was doing, and when I played what I did up to the par of what I wanted to achieve, I felt like something was wrong with it. I felt messed up. People were giving kind words to things that I was doing. Sometimes I feel like maybe it's best to kind of play against, to play against an audience or something like that. And, those that can handle it or feel it or tune into it, that like it, and, can kind of sense that you're trying to find some beauty through the brash of the world and all that sort of thing. I'm okay if people like it then and everything, but, it's a different timeline. It's a different timeline altogether where I find, my inspiration. And, there's not t-shirts regarding the nostalgia of the timeline of the things that I'm finding joy from, because there's so many old black and white movies and old records and all this kind of stuff. And it's not for that purpose of just like on purpose doing it to be trendy or whatever. It's just I don't belong hardly anywhere in the group settings of most of present civilization, and I'm not really gonna bend and flex my being into that, because I usually want to leave immediately if I'm accepted by too many people anyhow. Basically, I just want to step along, do my thing, maybe leave some imprint of what it's all about, because I'm not trying to get stuck too deep into any of the things you're supposed to do as far as music goes and all of that. So much of it's improperly played, and half the time I'm riding on the edge of wondering what the heck's even going to happen in the next moment, but that keeps it exciting for me, and I want to be excited and compelled to continue to create. When you face a lot of the audacity of the local music industry or the broad spread music industry, and fail obsessively yet still continue to create, that's a form of dysfunctionality, trying to reach some peak of, personal pursuit, finding a fulfillment.